different games that are out right now or coming out or in early access, like the one I'm looking at tonight, that are board game adaptations. I'm a huge fan of board games. I have a huge library. I love playing board games, and of course, one of the things that I love is every week I participate in table flipping games on Saturdays where we play, some friends and I play some tabletop board games on Tabletop Simulator, and it's a lot of fun. But one thing that I really wanted to do was check out some games that had been adapted into digital form, because we didn't really have a good chance to take a look at a lot of those on the other show. I would start kind of taking a look at them on this show and kind of solo streaming them. Exactly, Joe. More gloom. Thanks for joining. So, one thing to remember is that this Gloomhaven that I'm kind of previewing here, this digital adaptation, is in early access. It's still in development, so there might be some bugs. Possibly, I actually had a power outage. I don't think it was the game last time, but I did have a power outage in the middle of it. But everything else ran really smoothly. As a matter of fact, the game loaded right back up from where I left off and instead of having to start over again with that stage. So it was pretty exciting to see it that kind of polished. And then some of the things they've got upcoming in news, besides the early access reminder, is that they've got 4 characters at this point. They're going to be adding some more, and they've got a nice roadmap of where they're going to be going. And they've got some things you can take a look at, like videos and that kind of thing. Last time I took a look at the different menus, and one thing I noticed that's different is I think they have a how to play button now, which has the sort of compendium of rules summary that we kind of took a look at last time. It's pretty comprehensive and teaches you the basics of the game. Of course, the rulebook for the physical board game is way more complicated and much more detailed. So, but for the purposes of playing in adventure mode, you don't really need to know a lot about how the campaign works and things like that. So, eventually this game is supposed to have everything that the physical board game has, which is pretty amazing considering that it's maybe like a fourth of the cost or third of the cost. You can, and then in addition to that, it will also have adventure mode. So there's going to be a lot of options. Right now it's pretty bare bones. I think they're just trying to get a look at how the game plays, how everything works, looking for any bugs, that sort of thing in the main play mode. And then later on, they'll be adding, I think with release, they're going to be adding the campaign, and then eventually a tutorial, and then later on, multiplayer and modding. So I'm going to jump back into my adventure game. I was playing with Venom Stone. One note, if you didn't know this already, you do have the option of playing with different parties. So you can't rename your party as of yet, but you can save, like for example, I took Venom Stone out, and we started our progress toward defeating the Bandit King, the Bandit Leader. And I've gotten a little bit, maybe about a third or maybe about a fourth of the way to level 2. Got some gold, and I'm going to be continuing on down the first path that I can take. Bandit Commander is who I'm going after. But one thing you can do is if you want to play a different game, you can pick a different 2-player setup. And we've discovered last time that 3-hero and 4-hero setup, where you can play with 3 or 4 heroes, is locked as of right now. And one of the things that they did is they locked it so that you actually have to play a few games, or actually at least beat one boss with the 2-player combo. Then you can play 3 heroes, and then if you beat 2 bosses, which of course might be with a 3-hero group, then you can play 4 heroes. Last time the hero requirements or the boss requirements were a little bit higher. That was one of the things that they changed in their first patch that came out. Another couple of things that they added in their new patch was more road events and encounters that you have along the way to the dungeon, which would be kind of interesting. We'll see if we run into any of those. I haven't so far. They also have more environment variations so that the environments in the dungeons look a little bit more varied. There's also some, which I'm looking forward to checking this out. Apparently the attack modifiers have been changed in how they're displayed so that they're easier to read, and they're eventually going to make a huge visual overhaul of that system so that it's much easier to tell what modifiers you drew when you were attacking, which I'm interested to see how much they fix that, because it's definitely a little too quick to be able to sometimes tell what exactly you drew in your attack. It looks like that they did change the compendium button. It used to be compendium, and now it's a how to play button. But I took a quick look at it, and everything looks like it's the same as far as the instructions in there. There's a little bit of an update in line of sight. They did decrease the number of requirements for 3 and 4 character parties, which I just showed on in the menu there. Chest and doors are now going to be highlighted in blue, so you can see them a little bit better during movement. That should be pretty nice, because I actually didn't really see the treasure chest very well in that final room. It's nice that they'll have a little bit of highlight to it. And it looks like there's some difficulty indicators. And as you can see, there's some skulls here which weren't here before. And I think why they have them indicated like this is based on difficulty, is what they said. So if you pick, for example, the Doom Crushers, you've got the Inox, Brute, and Cragheart, who are technically pretty simple to play. I would agree with them that the Scoundrel and the Spellweaver can be a little bit harder, more complicated to play, in the sense of how to manage the cards and how to keep from becoming exhausted. So I would imagine that any group that has either the Spellweaver or the Scoundrel is going to be a little bit harder to play with, and if they have both, like the Poison Flame group, that's going to be the hardest difficulty. I would agree with that. I think that can be a little complicated. And of course, as you increase to 3 heroes, it's going to get a little bit more complicated, and 4 heroes, obviously. So it's cool that they have that indicator on here, because I would agree, playing with the Spellweaver and the Scoundrel is a little bit more complicated. Although I'd say all 4 of the starting characters, comparatively, once you learn the game, aren't too bad. And then as you play the game and unlock new characters in the campaign, by that point you will know the game well enough that you can integrate more complicated characters for sure. Let's see. Alright, so we're ready to continue. Those look like those were the only updates. Oh, they did make an artwork change to the Burn Tavern, so we'll see if we get a chance to see that tonight. So far, that's the only updates for this week. We did pass the armory last time, which is kind of nice. We just had to kill all enemies. It looks like for most of the requirements on the dungeons in adventure mode seems to be kill all enemies. It'll be kind of interesting if they add some, eventually add some different types of requirements, because definitely in the campaign game you have different objectives. So I can go to the abandoned catacombs where cultists are raising an army of the dead. They must be stopped. The stench, or the vaults of pus. The stench of death permeates through this area. Something's not right here. I think I'll go through the vaults of pus, because not only do I like the name, as far as gruesomeness, but it doesn't add a lot of new enemy types that I have to kind of get used to. Now this is where I could have a random event. It's more likely now, apparently, according to the update, but I didn't have one. So I'm now ready to adventure in the Vaults of Pus. So if you remember, ooh, I like this new dungeon. Definitely looks like a vault. Like the bones. Remember this game, the key to this game is that it's really a card game with miniatures on the board kind of being moved around and attacking based on your cards. And the idea is that you want to try to make it through the whole dungeon without losing all of your cards. You'll then become exhausted and you'll be out, and the other characters have to try to complete the adventure. And of course, for a 2-player team, that's going to be pretty bad if half the team is gone. I do have a readout here on the right that kind of gives me a progress indicator of how much progress I have toward killing all the monsters. That's kind of nice. It gives me a general idea, but most dungeons in Gloomhaven are about 2 or 3 rooms large. I've got a cultist here, which is a new character that I'm facing. Last time I think I just had some bandit guards and archers. The cultists can be interesting. they're not really too tough in them in themselves, but they can add some effects and buffs and debuffs to the board, and they can heal, I believe, also. The living corpses are just giant bags of flesh that come at you, and they attack big, they move really slow, so it's a good idea to try to take them out from a distance. Unfortunately, neither of these two are really huge. I mean, Cragheart is a little bit of a range attacker. One thing I would like for them to do is fix the zoom in rollover for the lower cards on the list. It's kind of loads them up a little too high. It's just the bottom ones, you can't really see the whole thing. But you can always... I definitely want to do Dirt Tornado, I think, because this group's perfectly clustered for that. But I need to pick something early. Remember, one of the cards that you pick is going to be your initiative card. You can pick the 2 cards for every round in whatever order, but then you want to make sure and select whichever one you want to be the initiative card. The lower, the faster. So I'm definitely not going to be moving up to them. Maybe I can do something far away, but the lower down I go, the higher the initiative. So I think I'm just going to play Unstable Upheaval just for the sake of early initiative. So those will be Cragheart's 2 cards. The idea is I'll play Dirt Tornado to hopefully muddle them and hit everything in that group. Now we have the Scoundrel. The tough part being that from where she is, she could definitely use her throwing knives, and that's a pretty low initiative card. She can hit 2 targets. I can hit the cultist and the living corpse. Now I just need to figure out what I'm going to do. With my bottom half of my card. One thing you have to remember too is that if you have a card, if you're going to use a move action on, like, for example, the bottom part of a card, you do have to completely finish that action and then do the top half of the other card. You can't actually continue a move after you've already finished another action. Okay. I like Single Out. I can use the bottom half of Single Out to make the next 4 attacks targeting enemies +2, but they have to be adjacent to none of their friends, so that's not going to work here. It doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot of great choices. I could just use Single Out just for the sake of using a high initiative card that I'm not going to use anytime soon. No, all these cards are kind of good. Yeah, I'll just use Single Out. And then I'll definitely use the Throwing Knives as my initiative card. If you select them out of order, like I selected Single Out first, you can always click on the number to pick that as your initiative card, and you'll see it glows a little bit brighter to let you know that that's your initiative. And you'll see up here on your character portrait. Remember that you don't know, it's a question mark as to what the enemies are going to do and what their initiative is going to be until you pick with both characters their card choices. So Occultist is moving at 63. He's going to summon a Living Bone. So this is one of the terrible things they do. They actually summon other creatures into play, in this case Living Bones. I think this is the only creature they can summon at this level. And that sucks because that puts more guys on the board. And the Living Bones can be pretty annoying as far as damage. The Living Corpse is going to move 2 and then suffer damage. So they move a little bit faster than they normally do, and they suffer damage. But they actually aren't attacking this round, which is kind of nice. So I start off, Scoundrel is obviously first as usual. So I'm not going to use Single Out for anything. I am going to use the Throwing Knives, and that'll give me an experience plus. I can attack 2 targets. So I'm picking the 2 targets I'm going to attack. And I love the idea that it gives you a little bit of a readout. If you draw, and I believe what it's based on is drawing a 0 modifier out of your deck. So in other words, the average attack is going to do 2 damage. If I draw a better modifier, I'll do more damage, and if I draw a worse modifier or I could miss, then it'd be not as much damage. So I'm going to go ahead and I've clicked those targets, and then you have to confirm. I don't believe there's any items I can use. Oh, I could gain advantage on the entire attack because I have my goggles on. But this seems... Advantage means I draw 2 modifiers and I pick the best one, but... It's not a once per game. I basically could long rest and use it again. Yeah, I'm just gonna do... Well, yeah, let's do it. Let's get this thing going. I wonder if I have to pick first. Oh! I guess I confirmed my attack. So maybe I have to pick the item first before I select the targets, but I did draw... I didn't see what the modifier was, if it was a better system. Item seems to work different in this than the board game. Okay, I'll check it out. I think maybe when you select the top half of the action, if it's an attack, then you can select the goggles, then you select the targets. So there might be a specific order you have to do it in. I've got to figure that out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the modifier draw to see if it was better, but that's okay. We'll see it when Cragheart draws. I did 1 damage, so I drew a little bit worse of a modifier card. I think I drew a -1, yeah. When I hit the cultist, so I only did 1 damage. Then I drew a beneficial card. I'm not sure what I drew for the big guy, but it did extra damage, so it had to have been a +2, I'm thinking. But I don't see... Yeah, there might be a pip there that's missing. I can't see it very well. Okay, and then I'm just going to do a basic move, but I'm going to skip the movement. One thing you have to be really careful in the digital game, because you're not going to get a redo, is you don't want to accidentally select an action that's a burn card action, because it will make you burn the card when you just meant to skip it. Although there may be an option to skip the action, I think it might still make you use it. So Scoundrel's finished. Now we have the old Cragheart. He's gonna do... I don't think he's gonna do the shield 2. Because I don't really want to burn a card this early, but he's definitely gonna do the Dirt Tornado. Oh, and I'm gonna use my Warhammer, because I want to add a stun to the action. Okay, so maybe I have to pick the target first and then use the item. This is very weird. It would be a perfect time to... well, let's undo. Okay, so you can undo and go back a little ways. I think I'm going to try to use my item. I'm not sure how to use it, though. Oh, it's a melee attack, so I can't use it. Sorry, I was not paying attention. So you can't use, since it's a range attack with Dirt Tornado, I can't use my hammer. Okay, so I did see, it drew all 3 modifiers at once. I think I drew a -1, a 0, and a +2, but I really didn't do very much damage at all. But I did muddle them, which means that when they do their attacks, the next time they go, they will be at a disadvantage. So I'm going to let them come to me. Oh, that's right. So when the cultist takes his living bone summon, that does 2 damage to him. So he only had 2 damage left, so he died when he summoned these living bones. Oh, he moved close to me, but spent his last hit point doing that. So not a bad round, no damage. Back to picking cards. So I did see the modifiers a little more clearly, but unfortunately, since I was attacking 3 characters, I saw them all at once. They came up all at once, so that was still a little hard to visualize. Massive Boulder's kind of nice because I can do a huge amount of damage, and then the adjacent target also suffers damage. But I need to do something early. So I'll do Rumbling Advance. If the Scoundrel goes after, then I can move up and hit them. Alright. So I can move up and poison an enemy with Special Mixture. And then attack. Move up and poison, and then move. Alright, so I'm trying to go a little bit later with the Scoundrel this round so that Cragheart can do his Rumbling Advance, but hopefully that will be sooner than the Bones. We'll see. Ah, the Bones get to go first. So they're going to move 3 and attack 2 targets, so attack with their base attack, which is 1. So it's not a lot of damage, but it does get to attack both me and the other, both Cragheart and the Scoundrel. No damage. And he drew -2, so no damage. Not bad. Okay, so unfortunately now I've got to figure out how Cragheart can move with his Rumbling Advance and still do damage without damaging. I like that they put the undo action on here now, because I don't remember that being on here, but it was definitely hard if you chose something and you didn't want to. So I definitely don't want to be... I'll either... so because it's a range attack, I don't want to attack the Bones with it, because that will be a disadvantage. I think that's what it's giving me a little blinking symbol for. So I think I will attack the living corpse. So it's a -2, it's only going to do 1 point of damage, and it does 1 point of damage to the Bones. So I think I'm just going to do a regular move and come and grab this loot. Now I did notice when I selected movement that the door is now highlighted in blue, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to kind of move around behind them, and then I'm going to poison an adjacent enemy, obviously this one. And then I'm going to use Quick Hands to move another 2 spaces, but I'm only going to move 1. I'm going to get on this loot and skip the rest of my movement, then I'm going to attack him. And apparently, oh, because he's poisoned, it's gonna turn my attack into an attack 3, which is why it looks like it would kill him unless I draw a -1 or lower. Do a +1. So he's dead. Alright, so we end the round. So now we've just got the living bones to deal with. Okay. I might use crushing opposing strike because that does some pretty big damage. Even though I don't usually get the effect where I hit guys on behind me and ahead of me. I think we were talking about this last time on the stream. That's a card that it's very hard to use that card. Definitely a card I might replace at some point. And then I mean, I could heal, but nobody's taken damage yet. So maybe I'll just do backup ammunition just to use a high initiative card. Now, at this point, I definitely want to use flanking strike because the bones are adjacent to one of my allies. And that'll be a really quick initiative. I should be able to get by him. But I gotta move toward him. Oh. That should be interesting. Okay. I'll use smoke bomb just to try to start some trouble. So it looks like the living bones is moving, attacking, and healing, and he's going, unfortunately, before Crackheart. So the scoundrel is going to use her smoke bomb to pull him into this closer space, and he's already on top of loot, so that way I'll only have to go on top of one loot pile. So pulled him up there. Now this attack is going to be 3, but it's +5 or +2 for a total of 5 and an XP because it's adjacent to an ally of mine. Now here the item is glowing, so I could select it now, but I don't think I'm going to because it should be a pretty easy attack. Ooh, I drew my blessing. So I definitely killed him. It's interesting because there's already a ×2 card in your... But it also said I was blessed, so I must just get 2 cards, 2 ×2 cards, whereas normally I only have 1. It's not a... I mean, it's a pretty nice advantage, but it's not absolutely enormous. Okay, so I'm going to move on top of the loot. And just kind of hang out. Alright, so that's the end of the round. Now we gotta hightail it. Of course, remember that you're on a timer, so you gotta move as fast as you can. And he doesn't really have a lot in the way of fast movement cards, so I'm just gonna pick 2 random cards, and the thief is gonna use a couple of cards. One of them has a high movement, so she's going first. I'm not going to open the door completely. I'm going to move up and get ready. Yeah, there's not even any traps in here I can disarm. So I just discarded just the top half of the card for nothing. I'm just going to do a basic movement with him. It's going to take forever to get up there. the end of the round. Pretty easy round, but at this point I'm wasting cards. I'm just trying to get up to the door. She needs to short rest or long rest because she's only got one card left in her hand. I think I'll just have her short rest because I'm not missing any hit points and I don't need to get any items back. So they're taking out my Venom Shiv unless I want to do a damage to myself. The card that's being burned is Venom Shiv for an attack 3, poison, move 5. That's a good card. But if I redraw, I have to take whatever is randomly drawn next. I'll burn it, because I still have a couple of high movement cards, and I don't want to lose something valuable like, I think throwing knives might be my one range attack. Alright. I should have probably just done a long rest, because then I could have picked the card that I can't really, I don't know, a card that I don't really think I'll use. Alright, so I'll have, so I'm going to go ahead and use throwing knives, because I'll be probably attacking at range. And then I'm going to, all my high movement is early in the initiative for the scoundrel. It's kind of interesting. Okay. We'll just use something high. Alright, well, she's just going to do a basic move to open the door. And now we've got some more cultists, or a cultist, and some living corpses. So same as before, I'm going to go ahead and attack. Oh, I got to decide if I'm going to finish my move. So if I attack from here, I can hit the cultist, but I'm not going to be able to hit a second target. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's see if I move back. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have to stay in the doorway to hit the cultist. So I'm going to go ahead and skip my last movement. Just attack. Confirm. You're a -1, so it's only going to do 1 damage. It's the end of her turn. Alright, I could have him burn this card and move 5, jump, and immobilize, but it's not going to immobilize everybody because he's just not going to be able to move very far. So, ooh, Earthen Claw attack 2, range 5, so that's not too bad. Maybe I can get to. So I'm going to move here, up close to the door, and I'm going to see if I can. Yeah, I can hit. I believe how line of sight is detected is by corners. So if you can draw a line from your corner of a hex you're in, to a corner of the hex the enemy's in, and it doesn't go through a wall, you're good. So what's nice is I can hit this guy too. Hopefully draw something good. No, nothing great, but I did do 2 damage. So once again, the cultist kills himself in order to raise living bones. And you'll notice because he's summoned, he can't attack the turn that he comes out. But what sucks is normally his basic attack is that he can always target 2 people. It's kind of an innate trait. No matter what ability he draws, he could attack twice. 2 different targets, let's put it that way. So Cragheart needs a short rest. He only has 1 card, so it's going to burn the massive boulder. I'll go ahead and take that. So now I've got So if I can move really far, I could get into the space that's adjacent to all of them, and I could attack them with my unstable upheaval, which is attack 3. If I burn it, it's an attack 3 against all adjacent enemies, and then all allies would suffer damage. But if I can go after, I'll just have the scoundrel go after. The trick is going to be getting him to be able to move the required number of spaces. So he's got 2 move 3s. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's enough. Okay, so I'll use backup ammunition. Yeah. So his turn is chosen. And then I'll have her use... Oh, I want to go after. So I have to go after 13. So I'll go 23 and just use this as a basic move. And then attack because my ally should be adjacent. Flanking strike. So the living bones and the living corpses are both going after. Looks like the living bones are going to attack 2 targets. Living bones, well, the 1 living bones. The living corpses are going to attack 3, which is a pretty heavy attack. I may finally be taking damage here. Okay, so Cragheart does get to go first. He's going to move 3. And then I am going to use the unstable upheaval to do 3 damage, even though it's a burned card. All 3 of these guys are going to get hit. Okay. Pretty good amount of damage. Pretty good. And so I'm going to have him, the old scoundrel. No. Oh, that's an attack 3. That's why I kept trying to... So basic action. I'm so used to the physical board game where you just throw the cards down and it's like, oh yeah, I'm using the basic attack action. Whereas here you actually have to select that specific ability. Okay, so I moved up. Now I'm going to use my attack 3. It's actually going to be an attack 5. Oh, I got to skip the rest of my movement. I'm going to use an attack 5 against these bones, which will take out 2 attacks, thankfully. And it'll give me an XP because it's adjacent to an ally. Easily done. So I'm going to be taking some big hits here. 4 damage to start off with. And then 2 damage. Not too bad, but I definitely need to heal. But he's a good tank. He can take a lot of damage and he can heal himself, so I'm not too worried about it. As a matter of fact, that might be what I'll do. Thankfully, his healing is pretty low initiative card, 29. Especially, I should beat the living corpses. They're very slow. So I'm going to heal and infuse life, which I'll be able to use next round. What can I do on the bottom of the card? Oh, I can heal more. So 6. I am missing... I wish I could see my hit point readout. Because I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I've got 12 hit points, so I definitely could heal myself. There's not really much else I can do on the bottom of the card. One thing that you might have noticed is that when the... yeah, I know, I hate the living bones too. So one thing I definitely will tell you that you got to keep track of is if there's a summoned creature, you'll notice it didn't drop any loot. That's because any creature that's summoned into the game out, that wasn't actually in the dungeon to begin with, it was summoned by another creature, they never drop loot. So it kind of sucks, but unfortunately you just have to deal with them. They're an extra problem, and they don't even give you a reward for beating them. So I'm going to use backstab. Well, maybe I'll save that because that adds even more damage if there's no other allies that it has. So I'll move up with quick hands and poison. And then I'll use the smoke bomb, but for initiative, and I'll just use a basic attack. Hopefully finish this one living corpse, because it's just the scoundrel's the only one attacking this round. Alright, so high initiative, which is what we were thinking. These guys are pretty slow. They're going to move and attack for 2. So I'm going to use quick hands. Do I want to do... I guess it doesn't really matter. It's going to be an attack 2 whether I use basic attack or quick hands. So I'm going to move 2 with quick hands and attack. Skipping the rest of my movement. So this is an attack that will do 2 more damage. Yeah, so I drew a 0 modifier. And then I can pull him if I want, but I really don't see the point. And the nice thing is if I stay up here, if I don't move away, I should take 1 hit from this guy, and then Cragheart will take the other hit. So that should split up the damage, which will be better. So I think I'll just stay here. Unfortunately, if you try to pull something and you can't pull it, you just ignore it. You don't do damage. So I'll skip the action. Alright, so Cragheart is just healing. He could attack, but, you know, it's probably a good idea just to keep myself on the upper end of the scale for 1 round. Alright, so that was 6 damage healed, so everything that I took is... Ooh! Okay, so you drew a +1, so it's going to do 3 damage to me. And again, you have a choice of burning a card in your hand or burning 2 discarded cards that you pick. But the problem is you don't want to burn cards. That's your life. You're out of the game once you're out of cards. So burning cards is like a last-ditch thing. You only want to do it if you have no damage left that you can take. So I'm taking 4 damage. Man, almost the same amount of damage, even though these guys did an attack that did less. Base, they drew bigger modifiers. Okay, so these guys need to die. I don't have any heal cards left. Those will just have to. I'll just have to heal when it comes back up. I guess I'll do an attack 3, and it'll be early in the initiative, so maybe that'll kill this guy. We'll immobilize him, but hopefully he'll be dead. I want to do something where I use earth magic, but maybe I'll do that when I move into the next room, and I'll use it with my dirt tornado. Alright, so that'll be those. I'll just pick a random card. So unfortunately, I do need to use backstab. I won't get as much damage out of it, but it'll still do a sizable amount of damage. Should kill this living corpse for sure. We'll see what the living corpse is doing. He's moving and attacking huge. So 4 attack if those get off, but he's not going till the end of the initiative. So I've got to finish these guys off. Okay, Scoundrel's going first. I'm going to... I'm going to move 3 and poison, but there's no reason to move. But I do want to poison. So this will be 5 attack and poison, so it's really a 6 attack. And you know what's funny is, just as a little side story, which is annoying, is I've been playing this game, physical game, for forever, and I'm constantly learning rules that I wasn't doing correctly. For example, we'd been in one of the groups I was playing in, or in both the groups I've been playing in. We interpreted poison as an extra point of damage that you just added, but it's actually an addition to. Oh, and I love when you hover over it shows how it works. It actually adds to your attack. So basically, if you think about it, when you draw the modifier, if it's a ×2 or +2, if it's just a plus, it just adds, obviously. So it's no big deal. It is like most of the time, that's how it works. But if you actually draw a blessing, it's a ×2. So you add the extra attack and then multiply by 2. So you can do some big damage if you happen to draw blessings. So you want to make sure you interpret those rules correctly. I drew a +2, but it was still 5 damage. And he is finished. Alright. So I think I'm going to go ahead and attack. Hopefully finish him off. Alright. So I could move out of the room, but I think so the earth magic will be waning, so I'll still have one more round to use the earth magic. So I think I'm just going to move on top of the loot. And then I'll open the door next round. This looks like it was kind of just a transitional room. Might be one more big room. Well, I know there's one more room at least, but hopefully just one more room. Alright, so I'm going to use Dirt Tornado because I want to attack and use that earth when I move into the next room. So I need something that can move. I mean, I can just move 2 spaces and hopefully hit something. Yeah. And then the Scoundrel, she's got... I think I'm going to have her long rest because she needs to heal a little bit. And I will have my choice of cards. So that makes her initiative 99. And the Scoundrel or the Cragheart will still take his turn. So I'll move into the doorway with a basic move. And we do have a room of monsters in here. Looks like there's... yeah, looks like there's one more doorway. Man. Okay, so... got this V-shaped room. I am going to use Dirt Tornado, and I am going to spend the earth in order to do an extra attack with it. And that'll also give me an XP. So don't forget, when you do select that element, you have to select it first and then select the action. At least that's the order that I do it. Unfortunately, I'm only going to be able to hit the cultist or the living corpse. Questions. What should I do? Which one should I hit? It's going to muddle. I don't think he is going to attack. If he does anything, he'll summon. The living corpse is really the only one who's close enough to come in and attack me, so I think I'll pick him. And he'll be muddled, so if he does attack me... Alright, pretty good amount of damage. And he's muddled, so if he does come and attack me, he's... And of course he hits himself for 2 to bring in another bones, but he stays alive this time because he doesn't have enough... he still's got a lot of hit points left. So what card am I going to throw away here? Well, I don't think there's going to be... Well, there are some traps in here. Man, I really like all the cards in here. Maybe I'll go ahead and go with a Thief's Knack. Alright, so that was the long rest, and he healed 1, so she healed 1, so she's almost back to normal. So the only card he has left is cards. He can destroy an obstacle, or He can do opposing strike. Neither one of those are range attacks, which I kind of wish he had a range attack. I think I'm going to pick 2 random cards and just kind of move backward. And I'm going to have the Scoundrel. Let's see, what's his initiative? 41. I'm going to have the Scoundrel. Hopefully single out and throwing knives. To get somebody, hopefully somebody will be spread out from their friends. And I'm going to do this late initiative because I'm hoping that they'll all move in and they'll all have some targets to hit. Whereas right now everybody's too far away. So let's see what happens. Ooh, Cultist is going first. He's moving up and attacking. He is a melee attacker. Living Bones are doing the same thing, but they're going after Cragheart. And then the corpses are moving to and then suffering a damage, which is pretty nice. Because they won't actually attack. Ooh, the Cultist could not move close enough to attack. Okay, so I am going to turn on my opposing strike. Joe definitely loves retaliate, so I'll do this in honor. Well, do I want to move is the question. Yeah, I'll save the retaliation for a little bit later. So I'm going to move back. And then I'm just going to skip the top action. It's a little cheap, but... Ooh. Okay, so the Scoundrel's actually going... Okay, so the Living Bones only attacked adjacent targets, so... This kind of puts the Scoundrel... That's why I chose Throwing Knives, because I was a little worried I would not be able to hit anybody, which I can't. I've got to be within 3 range. So I actually don't want to choose Throwing Knives right off the bat. I am going to, instead of beefing up with Single Out, I'm just going to kind of move in the doorway here. Get this loot. And then use Throwing Knives. Now I can hit the Living Corpse, who's going to do a damage to himself this round. He's almost dead anyway. I think I'll go for the Cultist because I don't want him summoning any more bones. Ah, man. I drew a -1 modifier, so didn't kill him. Now would be a great time for the old Dirt Tornado. Okay, so this will be a good time for the Scoundrel to use the abilities that will hit targets that have no allies adjacent. So Cragheart needs to do a short rest. Okay, so it gets rid of his healing, some of his healing, but... And 1 range attack. But you gotta give up something, man. So he'll do his Rumbling Advance. That will be enough to kill this Living Corpse, if he's still alive. And then I should do a range attack because it's possible the Scoundrel. I could use Dirt Tornado. I'm going to save Dirt Tornado because I am infusing life again. I'm going to do Crater as a ranged attack. Now I'm going to have her go early so she can hit and then back out. So I think I'll just do Smoke Bomb as a basic attack. And then Quick Hands to move back. Maybe Special Mixture. Quick Hands. Alright. Ooh, the Cultist is going early. Moving and attacking only adjacent characters, though. So I don't think he's going to be able to move far enough to be able to... Oh, that's if he dies. He kind of explodes and hits everybody adjacent to him. So I don't want to attack him melee. He's going to move and do a basic attack, but only one, so I don't think he can get close. And then the Living Bones is going to move 0, or base movement, which is 2, and attack 1, target 2, and then heal. Which is not a big deal about healing because he's already full health. And the Living Corpse is going last. Okay, so yeah, so the cultist was not able to move close enough to attack. I'm going to do the basic attack with Smoke Bomb. Which kills him. You definitely want to use the map in this game too. If you are getting overwhelmed, don't be afraid to kind of backstep a little bit. Let the enemies kind of funnel through doorways, single file to come to you. Yeah, so that didn't really do much. So now it's Craghart's turn. So I'm definitely going to try to get this cultist finished with my attack 3. Well, wait a minute here. Maybe I'm going to do this first. So I'll move next to him, and it'll move 2. All adjacent allies and enemies suffer 1 damage. Now that will kill this cultist and infuse life, which I wanted to use for Dirt Tornado next round. Pretty cool. And we'll be collecting the loot in this space anyway. So now I can range attack 3, which I can hit the bones with. -1, so I'll only do 2 damage. I kind of like how the animation does look. You kind of get used to it. You see the modifier, then you see how much damage you're actually going to do. And then you can even hover over it and see exactly the breakdown of how that is, how that attack is going to go. Yeah, I agree, Joe. It's so hard to predict what they're going to do with Retaliate. Like, are they going to move next to you, or are they going to attack? If they attack, you know, is it going to be you that they're attacking? And then the Retaliate works, right? If it's a melee attack and it's next to you, and they're attacking you, you know, you got to get it. There's so many working parts that you got to get running right. Living Corpse is just moving forward a little bit. Craghart got the gold. Getting a nice little bit of gold this round. Okay, so we'll end that round. Alright, we've got 2 guys left. And I notice we got a trap back here. Do I have a push? I don't. I know that she has a pull. That is in my burn cards, I think. Maybe. I don't know. Well, in any event, no one has the ability to knock anybody into a trap, but there is some life magic or life element, so I need to use Dirt Tornado for sure. I need to use Crushing Grasp to get low initiative. And so I could also loot that gold and use that. Now the Scoundrel is way out of bounds, so I need to move her up there. So I think I'll use Flanking Strike to do that. And then I can heal Craghart with the rest of it. So she's actually going to steal the loot out from under him, which is fine. I like that it's a group loot. One thing about the physical game is you have a little bit of competition for loot and things that are, you know, treasures and things that are on the ground. And so that adds a little bit of a fun element. The other thing that I was talking about with Joe is the fact that you don't always know what the other players are going to do initiative or action-wise, so sometimes they can take that away from you, take things away from you. And although it is frustrating to have that done to you, it kind of adds a little bit of unpredictability that's kind of fun. And I'm not sure how they're going to compensate for that in the digital version of the board game. I still think there's a lot of really cool Oh, it's a self-heal. Blarg. Oh well. Selfish scoundrel. Well, she heals herself. I like that animation. It's cool. Alright, so she's fully healed because she's going to be taking damage, probably. Cragheart is going to use the earth magic. And all the attacks, thankfully, will then be muddled. Ooh, and it killed the living bones. Oh, killed both of them. Nice damage. I wish I saw what the modifier was. Had to have been pretty good. Then he will just use the basic movement, start moving toward the next door. Looks like there's a few more enemies left. I gotta go all the way over to this door. I may get close to running out of cards for some of these people. Okay. Well, we definitely need to move 3. We'll just use Avalanche as a second card. It's for Cragheart. So unfortunately, she needs to do a short rest. Get her cards back. Oof, throwing knives. I don't really want to lose that. Okay, so I have to burn single out. Well, that sucks, because I was going to do some extra damage, really high damage at the end there, but... So she's down to 5 cards. This is not great, because that means that she's almost out. And we still have 1 room left to go. So I'm going to have her move 5. She'll move on top of the treasure, but she won't, no. Cragheart should be able to get to that treasure, and then I'll use Quick Hands for just the movement part. And this is kind of nice, because you can really squeeze out a ton of movement with her, even though you're not attacking. She can get that loot. He'll move 3. Well, he'll stop there anyway. Get the loot. He really needs to heal. That's the problem. So he is going to just do a basic move just to use the rest of his cards. She's going to do a move 3. Smoke bomb. She may be the one opening the door next round, not this round. So I'm thinking about using that smoke bomb to go invisible if she does open the door, and then on her next attack it's going to be double the value. That's a beautiful card. But I will have to either short rest or long rest before I can do that. Alright, so he'll move a little bit and then skip this action. That's a really big room. A lot of cards burned in here. Okay, so he's going to do a long rest. And she is also going to long rest because she is missing a little bit of hit points. So now what you want to do on the last room, because this is definitely going to be the last room, you really want to make sure you burn everything you can that gives you XP. Although you also have to be really careful that you don't go out ahead of time. And she's probably not going to burn a whole lot, simply because she just... Other than maybe the smoke bombs. It depends on how many people how many enemies there are. I'm not going to worry about healing. So she's down to 4 cards. Not great, but... definitely lose the opposing strike. So he's almost back up to full. She is up to full. And now we can kind of start the round with a sizable move. What does he have left? He can move 3 with backup ammunition. I don't want to use Dirt Tornado yet because I want to try to hit everything at once. I can attack 3 with... Now, of course, this is a later initiative, but it's not terrible because I am opening a door, so I don't really know. Right now, I'm not competing with anything, initiative-wise. Now, she can use her throwing knives to also range attack, because I'm probably not going to... There's not going to be anything right up next to the door, usually. And I'm going to have her do a fast movement, just because she can open the door and then move back from the door. I don't think I'm going to use my smoke bomb just yet. I'm going to wait and see what's in there. Okay, so she's going to move 5 to the doorway, open the door. Okay, we have a pretty small room, final room. Just a cultist and a living corpse, not too bad. And I could conceivably move into the room and then just go ahead and attack. And hit 2 targets. And I shouldn't take too much damage. I mean, I'll take some damage probably, although Living Corpse might not get to me. He is moving 1 space only. So yeah, so he won't get to me. The corpse is moving 1 and attacking 1, so he's actually not going to get to me either. So I probably should have checked that before I actually moved in, but okay. So I'm going to use my... So she's going to skip the rest of her movement. We'll use the throwing knives. We'll hit both these guys and confirm. +1. And something. I did 3 damage. Okay. Not a bad start. Got the living bones halfway done, or living corpse halfway done. Alright, so if I use my move 3, that'll put me in the doorway and I can attack at range. That's pretty good. I think this will be fine. I do need to get the treasure chest, which was supposed to be kind of glowing and a little more standing out a little bit more, but it's not really, but that's okay. It's kind of flashing once in a while. Kind of like the gold. So I should be able to use Crater to finish this guy. And I did. So at this point, with only 1 guy left, I definitely want to loot everything, and I also want to try to get some XP here. So this next round I'm going to try to see if I can pick things that will give me XP. For example, I can destroy this obstacle if I move on top of the gold, so that might be what I might do. Okay, and I'll pick an early initiative card that'll just let me move up there and do that. I might actually use Smoke Bomb just for a regular movement, and then with Quick Hands loot everything within 1. So I'm going to use Smoke Bomb to move right in the middle of all this treasure and loot, and then use Quick Hands to loot everything surrounding me, which should include the treasure chest. Oh, the cultist is going to summon living bones, but suffer 2 damage. Okay, so we'll use the basic movement, and then the loot 1. Why? I did not think about that. I forgot. So this is the problem. You pick 2 cards, and then you look at the bottom of both of them. So I can't loot 1. Okay, but if I pick Quick Hands, I can come up here and get this treasure chest, which I definitely want to get. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do the attack, but Skip attack. In her turn, we'll see what we got. Ooh, we got a minor healing potion. So one thing about the adventure mode is that you'll see, I think I mentioned this last time, there's an icon up here that looks like a torn card and then a 3 by it. So what that means is you're actually going to get limited use items. In the physical game, when you get an item, it's like permanent. So even though you might consume it and it's only a once per game, you can get it refreshed and back the next game you go into, the next scenario. So what's interesting about these is that you only have them for a limited amount of time, so I could heal 3 points of damage just as an extra thing, an extra action. It's outside of my 2 normal action cards. I can heal, and it consumes it, and then the next game I play, it'll consume it again, and every time it does that, this little meter counter will go down, and she gets that item. And so when she heals, she'll get 3 uses out of it, and then it'll just go away. So that kind of adds this interesting element of, is it worth it to get that, or is it, it's hard to tell. Like items, I like the idea of durability on items. In some cases, I'm going to destroy this obstacle so I can get XP. But I'm kind of wondering whether it will add anything to the game, or because I think it'll add a little bit of excitement to the game, right? Like, when do I use this special item I got? It'll also give them the chance to give you some really cool items that'll be really powerful, but only 1 or maybe 2 or 3 uses, and then it's gone. So figuring out the best time to use that is really cool. Kind of a cool suspense-adding element, I think. Okay, so I can use Avalanche for some XP and hit both these guys, and it will, if I use the life element that I just infused, give me a lot of XP. So I definitely want to use that. I'll use Crushing Grasp to move up to these guys, and for low initiative. And then the Scoundrel is going to try to duck back. Oh, needs a short rest. Already. Wow. Yeah, I'll go ahead and burn that. I really don't need range attack at this point, and she's almost going to be exhausted, which kind of sucks, but... Now, he is moving up next to the enemies, but not yet. But really, that's the best attack card I have. Maybe if I use Quick Hands to go after, but then that will let all of them go first. But, oh well. Okay. So the Cultists and the Living Bones do go first. They're attacking... Oh, the Living Bones is healing, which is great. And shielding, which is great because he already has full hit points, so I don't really care. Okay, so I'm taking 2 damage, no big deal. Now the Living Bones is shielded. That's not too big of a deal. This attack should be pretty big. Unfortunately, I will have to move through a trap if I move to attack these guys now. Well, we'll have to do it. Okay, I'm going to use the life element. I'm going to attack. Confirming both of these targets. Not great modifiers, but enough to kill the Cultist, and now just 1 hit point left on the Living Bones. Should be pretty easy. I'm going to go ahead and come down here. I'm going to try to get all the loot I can. And skip this movement. Skip this attack. Alright, in the round. Okay, so this Dirt Tornado. Oh, I'm going to have to do a short rest. Yes, yes. Yeah, I'll burn that. I don't think I'll use that. So now again, we're trying to get all the XP and gold we can. There's just one more pile of gold. This creature, this Living Bones, is a summon creature. There should be something that indicates that to kind of remind you. But it is summoned, which means that it's not going to drop any gold. So if I kill this guy and get this loot and then get this pile of gold, that's all I can do. So what I want to do is try to get all the XP I can, because I have plenty of cards left with him anyway. So I can't destroy an obstacle anymore. There's nothing on the top I can do for XP. But there's several things I can do for XP on the bottom. Oh, I can heal myself, why not? And then she can kind of finish him off. I've only got 2 cards left, so she's going to have to. Flanking Strike is burned. I'm going to redraw. Okay. So I literally only have 2 cards left with her, so I have to choose Flanking Strike, and I have to choose Smoke Bomb. Thankfully, I can move up with Smoke Bomb and attack with Flanking Strike, and it'll do 5 damage. That should finish him before she exhausts. He's going to be moving after us, attacking 3, target 2, but shouldn't be a big deal. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I want to do the basic movement on Smoke Bomb. Get this gold, and then do Flanking Strike. Ooh, even with a -2 modifier. There's still 3 damage, enough to kill him. She picks up the gold. He has a chance still to do his Immobilize. Just for some easy XP, and then he'll heal himself. Alright. Got some good gold. Killed a lot of enemies. Got a good healing potion, which will come in handy because she definitely... Of the 2 characters, he has better healing. So if she could heal herself a little bit more, then that means there's a little bit less to worry about with her. And she doesn't have any healing for other people, though. That's the only thing that kind of sucks. So we finished the Vaults of Pus, and now we're on the last leg of the... I kind of chose the easier journey for the first game. The Marches, the Wildland, covers the area north of Demon's Gates, characterized by wide open plains and hillsides. Hidden bogs have been known to claim a careless traveler's watch your step. So we're going to travel to the Marches. Maybe have an encounter? No. Complete. Okay, so I claim my reward. Apparently that last stage is not a dungeon, it's just getting to the area. I've earned 8 gold for completing that quest, that side quest, and 13 XP. Ooh, and I received a Wand of Storms. So this is another limited use item. I can only use it 1 time, but I can create air. So you get a randomly generated item. And I got a major healing potion. So 2 times I can heal 5. It's a pretty good healing item. Oh, okay. So every time you finish a journey... That's when your items lose durability. Interesting. And I can equip these anytime I want, I guess. So I'm going to go ahead and... I'm going to give her a minor and him a major since he will be healing. Or since he's got more of a tank ability. And he'll need to heal more. I'll give her the minor. I'm more than halfway done with a level, which is kind of nice. So I'll go ahead and leave the Marches. Ah, okay. So I started on Wayward and I had 3 paths. I had a medium difficulty path, a hard path, and an easy one. And now I've got another 3 choices. I can take the easy way to Demon Spine Hollow. The wild, rugged land covers the area north of Demon's Gate. It's characterized by wide open plains. Oh, same kind of text. I can go back to Wayward, and it's a medium level. Starting location for many an adventure, Wayward is the stopping off point for merchant traveling between Gloomhaven and Demon's Gate. Much of the rare spices and silks from the Valrath Empire passes through here, giving the town an exotic feel. Thanks, Joe. The village of Eagle Crest is surrounded by vineyards on the steeper northern edges. Prices are high, but rare merchandise can be found in the specialist shops, so that's kind of cool. Hard, but I might get some extra XP rewards. I will get another minor healing potion by going the easy route. Warhammer. Boots of Sprinting. Alright, well I think we'll kind of keep it easy here. And travel to Demon Spine Hollow. Den of Razors. You've heard rumors that this is where a group of bandits train their archers. Another training ground. Alright. So once again, you don't have, in the physical card game, you have some X cards that you could sub in for your base cards, but those don't appear to be here in the adventure mode, which is fine. Maybe that's something I get when I level up or at some other point. I'm looking to have a random encounter. Oh, we got one! You happen upon a stoppered flask lying in the road, clearly dropped by some clumsy adventurer. You pick up the flask and notice there's still a good amount inside. You're feeling a tad thirsty. Take a drink or leave the flask alone. Well, you know, if it's a clumsy adventurer, might be something good. So I think I'll take a risk and drink it. This is similar to the road events that you have when you're traveling in the physical game, which is kind of cool. It merely contains a small amount of refreshing water. You drink your fill and continue down the road, your thirst thoroughly quenched. So nothing important. Alright, ooh, definitely a different kind of looking dungeon here. We definitely add a little bit more textures and things. Add a little more variety. We've got a couple of obstacles here. Unfortunately, I can't do too much with them besides destroy them. I'd like to pull someone into this trap. Massive boulder. Okay. I could also dirt tornado, but he doesn't really have... Man, there's a trap in front of these guys too. So I'm going to have to go with a range attack. And maybe Rumbling Advance. I may not get to use the adjacent allies and enemies suffer damage, but it'll be low initiative and I'll infuse life, which I'll use Dirt Tornado afterward. Now she has a pull, right? I could have sworn she had a pull. I'm not seeing it. Oh, that's where it is. It's on the bottom of her card. So it only does 2 damage. What I could do is I could use Quick Hands to move to and then skip the attack and then pull him into it. Either way, it's only going to do 2 damage. So I think what I'll do is I'll use Throwing Knives to move up close. I'll use Single Out as the movement, move up close, do range damage on 2 guys, and then next round pull. Alright, so they're going after. So I'm going to use the basic movement and single out. And then... yeah, so once... this is something I was just kind of noticing is when these glow. So I can heal anytime I want. That kind of reminds me. But if you'll notice my eagle-eye goggles, I couldn't figure out when to activate them. You do have to click the action to attack, and then once you've got an attack kind of triggered, then you can use the eagle-eye goggles. If I click them, I am going to go ahead and use them. It's going to give me an advantage, so I'm going to draw modifiers twice, and I'm going to pick the best one. So we'll see. Normally the attack's going to do 2 damage. We'll see how much it does. Okay, so I guess I confirmed using those, and now I confirm the targets, and it's blinking yellow cross swords, which means it's going to be an advantage attack. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got a ×2, and then a ×2. Pretty good. So Cragheart, he could finish these guys off, or one of these guys off, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and have him kind of work on someone new. So if I, well, the problem is I have to move to be able to attack. I was thinking about attacking this archer. Okay, so I'm going to have to move up to attack the archer. And I should do 3 damage. Ooh, 4. Alright. Not too bad. Oh, he did go through the trap to get to me. So that killed him. I'm wondering if this other bandit will do that. So I did take a damage from this random bandit over here. Eee, took 5 damage from the archer. Glad I started working on her. That's a lot of damage. And that's the end of the round. Oh, I could have sworn I was going to infuse earth somehow. Oh well. My goal is, sometime during this game... Hey, Night Joe, I'm about to log myself here in just a few minutes. My goal is to use Opposing Strike sometime during this game. It would be awesome. Let's see. I mean, I really need to use Dirt Tornado with this group of people. So I think I'll move quickly, hopefully with the Unstable Upheaval card, and then Dirt Tornado. She, on the other hand, is going to have a little bit of trouble, although she can... oh, she can't move up behind this obstacle. Man, this kind of sucks. I need to use that pull. Oh, and she's within range 3. With Smoke Bomb, I can pull him through the trap, into the trap. But I won't be able to move then. So, man, it'd be nice if I could heal. She can heal herself. There's not really much else she's going to be able to do. Oh, I can move 2 and attack 2, so maybe I can make something work with that. Okay, so they're moving after. Ooh, it's an elite bandit archer. That's why she was doing so much damage. So I definitely need to finish this guy off. Okay, so I'm going to pull this bandit guard into the trap. Oh, and the trap killed him. Love that effect. That's very cool. Next, I'm going to use Quick Hands to move 2, attack 2. Now, I can't move close enough to hit anybody. But maybe I can move close to maybe take a hit from the archer. We'll see. Maybe Cragheart can finish this. he could move up here and just attack the archer alone. Be more damage than the dirt tornado. Yeah, I think I'll do that. So we'll do a basic attack. Should finish off unless I draw. Okay. Whew. Okay. I don't think I would have died, but man, she did a lot of damage. The problem is now I've got all this loot. So he was strengthening and healing. Or strengthening and attacking. So he got a shield and he didn't get to attack because there was nobody adjacent to him, which is kind of nice. I gotta pay attention to their attack actions. Okay. So I think I'll heal. I'll spend some time healing. Oh, that's the only heal he has right now. And then I'll use the massive boulder to hit him. She... I mean, she can definitely use backstab. But she's going to get hit by his boulder if she doesn't finish this guy off. Alright, so he's moving 2 and attacking 2, but not until 50 initiative. So she's going to move up, and she's going to be able to do a huge amount of damage. Oh, but I can't use backstab. It's a burn card. Well, that's what I get. Alright, well, basic back attack action, sorry. She doesn't need to heal. Yeah, it might be worth it to use to get that extra attack in. Oh, but it did not do much damage. So I'll just take a damage from that. Then heal. I'll use the heal. Oh, well, I guess I could have used the potion, but... Alright. Time to finish this fella off. She'll go back and try to start grabbing the loot. She'll attack first and then move back and try to grab the loot. So he's going to be moving and attacking and then strengthen himself, so I need to hopefully finish this guy off. Okay. So I won't get the advantage of the attack, but it should be enough to kill him. Man, drawing terrible modifiers. So now I'll move 3 back just to grab this loot. And he will move forward. No. And attack 3. Alright. Now we'll just do a quick finishing up this room. So I'll save my move 3 because I'm just going to move down and grab this loot with him. She's going to have to short rest. Nope, I'll long rest because she needs to heal. And then we'll be ready to open the door next and start next round, next game. I do love the option, and I mean, it did seem like it worked really well, that at the end of the round, or at any time, I think it'll save your game. So that's kind of nice. Of course, saving money is always nice because, and you know what I didn't do is before I started the next pathway, I did not go shopping. I should have done that. I had a lot of money. But I'll do that next time. Alright, grab the loot. So now her long rest, she's going to get rid of a card. Man, the problem is I just really like all of her cards. Alright, that's the end of the round. Well, I think I will stop here before we move into the next room and get started. I do need to have her collect this loot down here. We'll be moving on to the next room. I think there's only one adventure in this stretch of the path, so I'll be able to go back to town next time and buy some goodies. But I'm going to kind of stop here. Thanks for coming along with me, checking this preview out. I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take me to complete the bandit layer. I know that once I do, I will be able to access a free party group, which I will definitely like to take in and try out. But definitely a lot of fun, lots of cool things, some things that are still kind of working, being tweaked. But man, I just haven't had any issues as far as I've seen when it comes to drops or crashes or anything like that. It seems to be running pretty well. So I'm hoping that if they don't get a lot of feedback on the problems, that they'll be kind of rushing forward with the roadmap and getting that Tinkerer character out, which I think is the next step. Sometime this fall to see the Tinkerer character come into play, which I'm really excited about. That's going to add a lot of cool combos in. And I also am excited because I think what that means is we'll finally have the implementation. Oh no, we do have a summon creature with the Spellweaver. Haven't played that character yet, but I'll probably be adding her in with a 3-group run next time. In any event, thank you for joining me. It's been a lot of fun checking this game out, and I'll be continuing this preview next week. But I will be getting back to Lord of the Rings pretty soon. Hopefully we'll see how long this whole adventure mode is, and then we'll jump back in, and try to kill that slug from Lord of the Rings one more time. But until then, be sure to check out this Saturday. We got a new game we're checking out just as a possibility for our next campaign. We'll be checking out a new game this coming Saturday, so be sure to tune in to Table Flipping Games on DeFebwar's channel. There's usually a link to that on the YouTube VOD for my videos here, and so you can check that out. My VODs are usually pretty up to date on YouTube, so you can check those out if you missed anything on the replay. But until then, I'll be back next Tuesday doing some more Gloomhaven, so talk to you guys later. Bye.